one Saturday a month, my dear friend Glenda Anderson and I would go to Norfolk, and we were always excited about going there, and we would laugh on our way there because we were going through a hard time, okay? And we knew that we were going to Norfolk and we were going to go hit our heads and hit our faces and hit our chests, and somehow after all that we were going to feel better. And we would ride and say, here we are doing these crazy things, but somehow it works. And it's really true. And our speaker today, Dr. Suzan Thompson, will show you how you can hit your head and your chest and feel better. Because Dr. Thompson specializes in what's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques, otherwise known as tapping. She's a licensed professional counselor who has helped people who have experienced anxiety, grief, loss, relationships concerns, trauma, career shifts, and life transitions. She integrates a blend of cognitive, emotional, and body-oriented approaches along with intuition and energy psychology tools and techniques. Her counseling includes mind, body, and spiritual techniques. She is one of those very special people who cross between the mainstream world and our spiritually oriented world outside the box. She is a talented healer and teacher, and she has helped me a lot. And after going to a couple of her classes, I wanted to bring her home and introduce her to my family. My dear friend Glenda graduated from the earth plane several months ago, but maybe she too will be here today. And I continue to do my tapping. We are privileged to have Dr. Suzan Thompson as our speaker today. Let's greet her. Thank you.
Wow. Hi. So are you ready to tap into more love, light, and joy?
Yes.
Good. So that's why I'm here. I've been using EFT tapping for, what year is this? For 16, 17 years. That's a long time. Yeah. And I wanted to give you a little bit of foundation for tapping. How many of you have done or heard of tapping before? Oh, this is great. So most of you have. And that means that you also have an idea of what the foundation is for tapping. So I want to backtrack to when I was introduced to it. I was just starting in private practice, having a really spiritual journey. I knew that at the time. And a friend of mine who was a Reiki master found these recordings by Gary Craig, who is the founder of EFT tapping. And she loaned them to me. So every day, oh, these were VHS recordings, by the way. You remember that? So every day, I plugged in a recording and I tapped along. At the same time, I was also going through this thing called a separation toward a divorce. And I found that I wasn't nearly as upset as I would have been, I think, otherwise. So Gary Craig says, try it on everything, and that's what I did. I tried it. If somebody said, my finger hurts, I'd say, you want to try something that might help? It's worked with folks who have migraines. It works with folks who have physical issues because I think because most physical concerns are about 80% emotional too. The founding statement for this technique is the source of all dis-ease is a disruption of the body's energy system. So we reset the energy system, and we reset the whole system. Right? So I see it as not just body-mind, it's body-mind-spirit. And the more I tap, the more I literally tap into this flow. So that's what's happened for me over the years. I tap more into the flow. And as after Sharon invited me to speak, this is actually take 2 on this. Did you know that? Most of you kind of knew that. So the first time I was scheduled was the big snowstorm back in January. I came anyway because I was so excited. I lived pretty close, so I was able to walk. And what happened for me is I get to say things like this in here. I had this great download of how do I teach this to this group of people. So we're going to do this in stages. How's that? We'll start with the tapping points. Then we'll tap through different emotions that are related to the specific points. And then I have us all in a chart that you can pick up on the way out. And then what we'll do is tap through some affirmations that are also related to the emotions, related to the points, to balance things out. And then here's also part of the download. As I was researching this fellowship, I was really taken by the principles of the fellowship. So what we'll close with is actually tapping in the principles of the fellowship. How does that sound? I know, it's very exciting. So to just get started, so you have an idea of how this could potentially work and how I typically use it with folks, I'll show you the tapping points. I know most of you have some familiarity with them, but I want you to know that over the years there have been lots of different iterations. And what I'm going to teach you is the basic recipe developed by Gary Craig. So we'll do the basic recipe. I'll show you the points. But what I would like for you to do is to think of an issue, a concern, event, or situation, or even person that has been bothersome to you. And really kind of think about the specifics of that situation, event, or person. And on a scale of 0 to 10, rate the intensity right now as you're thinking about that problem or issue. So we're going to collapse the situation, event, or person into problem. Okay. So when I say problem, you're going to think your specific person, event, situation. You got that? So right now, on a scale from 0 to 10. Rate the intensity. It may not be very intense. We've had a meditation, we had some prayer, we've had some singing, so it might be a little bit challenging to get the intensity up. That's okay. The important part of rating the intensity is so that you have an idea if anything's changed. I personally have a hard time rating, going from 0 to 10, but I know when something has changed in my body. Anybody else have that experience too? Some of you in the room. Great. So you got something? I'm going to show you the points. We're going to tap on that, and then we'll tap on all kinds of emotions as well. So the first point is called the karate chop. That's the point on the outside. So if you were going to do the karate chop on something, that's the outside of the palm. And as folks are tapping, I see you're doing really great. This is the point that we start with a statement of the issue or problem, and an affirmation. And the recommended affirmation is I deeply and completely love and accept myself. We're going to use I tap into more joy, love, and light. How's that? Okay. So we say the setup statement 3 times. I'm just going to go through the points first of all. We'll say the setup statement three times, and then we tap through the points. The next point is at the eyebrow. That's the eyebrow point. So it's right on the edge of the eyebrow. These, by the way, are endpoints of meridians, which are the energy pathways based in acupuncture and acupressure. Got that point? Great. The next one is on the side of the eye on the bone. Looking good. The next one is under the eye, also on the bone. So if you're wearing glasses, you might have to lift your glasses up a little bit or just massage. You can also just massage the point. You don't have to tap. The next point is just under the nose. Yep. The next one is just above the chin. Doing good. The next one is called the collarbone, and it's a little bit tricky. Not really. But it's K27 if you're familiar with acupuncture. It's right under the collarbone. There's a little space here. So we'll make it easy. You can see that I'm tapping on both sides here. Another way that I tap is I make my hand into a C, and I tap one finger, thumb on this side and my other fingers on that side. And if you're yawning, that's a good thing. That means energy's shifting. Right, right, there you go. Now it's catching. The next point is under the arm. It's about 4 inches below the armpit. You may find some tenderness there. There are some people who actually leave out this point because it's a little awkward. You can do that or this way. I call that the funky chicken version. And then the top of the head, right in the center of the top of the head. Good. And we'll stop and take a deep breath. And go back to the original issue and notice what's happened, if anything. Often what happens is there's a perception change or a feeling change or an understanding that drops in during that. Or maybe some other information was, oh, I didn't realize that was a piece of this too. So how's everybody doing? Good?
Is there any specific length of time you tap?
About seven times. There's another form of tapping that you actually tap about 20 times. So 7 to 20 to, if you look online at different people who tap, sometimes they stay at one point what seems like forever. But the simplest version is about 7 times. Right? Thanks for asking that. All right, any other questions? Yes? Doesn't matter if you switch hands. Thanks for asking that. What you will see is that often I'll tap on one side and then on the other as a second round. So it doesn't matter. And a lot of people actually will tap both sides at the same time. So you'll see me switch as well. Any other questions? Does the sequence matter? Some say yes, some say no. I'm not sure that it really does. It's a sequence that Gary Craig collapsed from what Roger Callahan, who founded thought field therapy, TFT, and is the foundation of EFT. That was a whole complicated system that Gary Craig kind of collapsed into. We could tap on all of the points as opposed to just picking certain ones as they relate to a particular issue for you. All right, so are you ready? I have to put my glasses on to be able to see what I've got written here. So the next thing that we'll do is usually what we do is identify a feeling that goes along with a particular situation. So if you want to kind of zero in on a feeling that relates to the situation that you initially thought about, just kind of think about that, call it up, and we're going to actually tackle almost all of them in this next round. You don't have to do that. We'll keep it really simple. This first round, and then the next round we'll name all of the emotions that relate to points. Okay? You ready? All right, at the karate chop. And you can repeat after me. Even though I have this issue, I'm tapping into more love, light, and joy.
I'm tapping into more love, light, and joy.
Even though I have this issue, I'm tapping into more love, light, and joy.
I'm tapping into more love, light, and joy.
Third time. Even though I have this issue, I'm tapping into more love, light, and joy.
I'm tapping into more love, light, and joy.
All right, so eyebrow, this issue. Great. Side of the eye, this issue. Great. Under the eye, this issue. Great. Under the nose, this issue. Above the chin, this issue. Collarbone, this issue. Under the arm, this issue. Top of the head, this issue. We're going to go another round. Ready for this? Eyebrow, this issue. So you can see I'm switching sides. You don't have to. It's up to you. Side of the eye, this issue. Under the eye, this issue. Under the nose, this issue. Above the chin, this issue. Collarbone, this issue. Under the arm, this issue. Top of the head, this issue. Stop and take a deep breath. And just notice. Notice what's happening related to the initial issue that you've been working on. This group understands what happens in a group and the group energy, right? So group energy is so much more powerful than individual. So it becomes a little bit, how do I, when I'm working with somebody, it's usually two of us working on a particular issue, but now we've got the whole group and we have the group energy field working here too. So it usually goes faster. So how's everybody doing in terms of the original issue? Anybody at a 0 at this point on the original issue? So that's actually a good thing. So we're going to, apparently you picked some really big stuff here. So next round. Now this is specific to this particular presentation, but I think you can use this for just about anything actually. The next round, we're going to tap on the different emotions that could come up around a particular issue. And each acupressure point actually holds particular emotions as well. So for example, this point right here is mostly related to anxiety. There are also points that are related to shame and fear and doubt and that sort of thing. So we're going to put all of that into this next round. You ready for that? Let's clear this stuff. So at the karate chop, even though I might be feeling stuck, divided or frozen, I'm tapping into more love, light, and joy. Even though I might be feeling stuck, and I don't want to let go of old ways, and I might even be resistant to change, I'm tapping into more love, light, and joy. One more time, right? Even though I might be feeling stuck and resistant to change, I'm open to more love, light, and joy. Yeah, eyebrow. All this fear and anxiety. Right, side of the eye. All this rage and anger. Under the eye, all this worry and fear. Under the nose, all this embarrassment and shame. Above the chin, feeling vulnerable. Collarbone, all this isolation. Under the arm, all this inability to integrate. And it's not fair. Top of the head, that resonated with some people. All this feeling fear and feeling weak. We're going to go one more round. Ready for this? All this anxiety and futility. Side of the eye, all this resentment and judgment. Under the eye, all this disappointment. Under the nose, all this guilt and powerlessness. Above the chin, all this feeling vulnerable. Collarbone, all this shame and isolation. Under the arm, all this self-doubt and it's not fair. Top of the head, all this fear and weakness. Stop and take a deep breath. I heard some whoo, yeah. How are you feeling now? So we've done some clearing, right? And some people will say, well, why do you start with all these negatives? Why do you start with all this negative stuff? Have you heard that? In our culture today, we're told to be positive, right? We have our spiritual traditions that tell us to move toward the positive, and here's what I think. I think it's important to start with where you are.
Absolutely.
And if you don't start with where you are, it hangs around. The reality is that we're humans. That's our reality right now on this plane, right? We're still human. We still have this human body, and emotions will get stuck if we don't acknowledge them. And the purpose then of starting with the negative is to start with where you are so that you can acknowledge them, free them up, and you can shift so much more freely into what I would consider our natural states of being, which are love, light, joy. Yes?
So if you're free in this experience, a negative emotion that you're not feeling right now, but you were at the beginning,
Yes?
what's the chances it comes back? Does it come back stronger, weaker, et cetera, et cetera?
That's a great question.
Susan, repeat it for the other.
So what are the chances that if you've cleared that one emotion? I don't label emotions positive or negative because emotions are just emotions. And we start getting into this black and white, we start judging them. I feel awful. I judge myself for being awful. So I'll come back to the original question was, if you've cleared it, then will it come back, and will it come back with a vengeance? You didn't say it that way, but that's what I heard. And the answer is, that's one of the reasons that I asked you to rate the intensity, and why I also asked you, how many of you are at a 0? Because if you get it to a 0, it's gone. Now, will the situation potentially come back? Maybe, because maybe there's another aspect of the situation that you're not done with yet. So you just go through the same process again. You acknowledge it, you tap on it, you notice what's happened, you see what's shifted, and you continue to tap until it's at a 0. So that's really the process, yeah.
In your opinion, when tapping on anxiety, do you feel it's important to tap longer here? Or do you, just because so many people have that right now?
I know, there is a lot of anxiety in this world.
There's a lot. So I'd love to know your expert opinion on that.
Wait, maybe I need to tap on being the expert. So I say that if in a pinch you want to bring anxiety down, you can zero in on this point.
Okay, thank you.
I think, though, also, and this is what traditional Chinese medicine would say, and that's one of the foundations for TFT and EFT, is that your anxiety has a different configuration, combination than my anxiety. And it doesn't hurt to tap all the points. In fact, it could really help. So does that answer your question, too? Good. All right, so how's everybody doing? I've seen lots of yawns. That's great. Most speakers would say, oh, I must be boring them. I'm like, yeah, you're yawning. Go ahead.
Why do you think tapping works better than massaging?
I don't think tapping works better than massaging. And in fact, because we're also non-local, we can get into quantum physics and spiritual practices. You don't even have to touch the point for it to activate. So you can tap, you can hold. I can imagine tapping or holding the point, and it still fires up the same stuff that goes on in my brain and body. So pretty amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
If I can make a comment to his question about it coming back.
Yes.
Because I've been doing this, almost 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It comes back, but I've learned for me, it's my reaction to an event that's causing whatever this emotion is. So as I tap on it, something else will happen and I'll feel the same emotion, but now I'm aware of it. And if I tap on it, then my reaction to whatever's causing whatever feeling goes down and down and down and down.
So I'm not sure I could completely paraphrase what you said, but over time, even though you might be tapping on the same emotion, your experience of it will potentially shift. And as it shifts, you'll start to notice that it does go down. You also, I'll go back to aspects, different aspects maybe pop up about situations that might initially feel the same, but aren't exactly the same. But what does happen over time, with any tool or technique that you might use consistently, is you start to notice, oh, that didn't bother me as much as it did before.
So I'm getting the feeling of it, you are gaining a sense of I have control over this. You're not.
Absolutely. So part of what happens is that, you have the sense of, oh, you're empowered. I have a way to deal with something. That is, I have control over my responses and reactions. So emotions are pretty quick. We don't even have to think about something completely. Like, we can call up a visual image of something and it hits us at the emotional level. And then also the cognitive level. So then you can start adding into a tapping sequence emotions as well as thoughts that you have about it. Both of those are powerful. And then add in body sensations related to the particular event that's going on, and any beliefs that you might have. I have a worksheet that I put out there that can walk you through that. This is a short amount of time that I wanted to pack in a lot of things. So you'll end up unpacking it as you go as well. Yes?
We're working on a situation of some other time, but if I'm in the midst of talking to somebody and I'm feeling anxiety, I can just go like that while I'm talking to them.
Absolutely.
Or maybe.
Yeah, in fact, I recorded a pretty recent, I have in addition to the regular meetup group, I started the day after Christmas a 30-day tapping challenge. So I recorded 30 videos, and I've been recording a video just about every week since then. But one of the ones that I recorded recently is how to tap when you don't want anybody to watch what you're tapping, right? So these are actually points that we tend to touch anyway when we're thinking or kind of working through something. So you can see, you know that now that what the points are, you can see that I'm actually tapping points. And nobody else who has no idea knows exactly what I'm doing, right? There's even stealthier ones that are on your fingers. That's a whole other segment. So this is really great for all kinds of things. Thanks for asking that. Yeah.
So all the points are above the belt?
Most of them are. Most of the points that are being used for this, above the belt, that's really great. Most of the points are in the head and torso, yeah. So this one is actually right under the armpit. So I guess that is above the belt. Again, people have added other points. And again, most of these are end points for meridians. So this is an end point, that's an end point, that's an end point, that's an end point, that's an end point. There are 14 different meridians. This is not, but this is a pretty powerful set of points themselves. But if you add up all the points, what you're actually doing is touching something, a point on every single meridian in the body. So I think it's an extraordinary system. Yeah?
Yeah, you mentioned relief from migraines or pain. What affirmations would you say?
The recommended ones are I deeply and completely love and accept myself. But the one that I typically use for physical issues is my body knows how to heal itself. So this group knows that. Like, you know that in your core, don't you? But we forget. We forget those kinds of things. Thanks for asking that. Oh, I was going to say that at the end. But the next one is July 15th. It's a Saturday, and it's in my Norfolk office. How am I doing on time? I didn't look. I got into this. We're okay. All right. So how about I'll do about 10 more minutes? Yeah. Okay. So ready for another round? We'll kind of do some balancing and kind of moving forward. Ready for that? So I want to say the karate chop is a place of resistance. And one of the first things that we humans do when we're trying to move forward, have you ever noticed it, is like resistance happens. You know, stuff gets in the way or whatever. Have you noticed that? So we start with the karate chop because this is the place that we neutralize resistance. So that's what we're going to do for this one, even though what we're doing is tapping in positive. So are you ready for this? Even though a part of me might feel indecisive, I'm open to more love, light, and joy. Even though a part of me might feel resistant, I'm stepping into more love, light, and joy. Even though a part of me might just be resistant, I welcome in more love, light, and joy. Yeah, eyebrow. I am hopeful. Side of the eye, I open to more tolerance and kindness. Yeah. Under the eye, I choose to trust. Under the nose, I choose to focus on strength. Above the chin, I choose to feel centered and secure. Collarbone, I choose to be gentle with myself. Under the arm, I choose fairness toward myself. I feel compassion for myself. Top of the head, I choose to feel strong. We're going to do one more. I choose to feel hopeful. Side of the eye, I reach out with kindness and forgiveness. Under the eye, I let go of worry. Stay there. I trust the process and the universe. Under the nose, yes, I can. Above the chin, I am clear, centered, and secure. Collarbone, I am gentle with myself. Under the arm, I feel compassion for myself. Top of the head, I stand tall. Stop and take a deep breath. How's everybody doing? Woo-hoo! Ready for the next round? So this next one is tapping in the fellowship principles. So, you okay? Need some water? I got some up here. Okay, we'll start there. So, ready for the principles? All right, so at the karate chop, even though a part of me may be resistant, I am committed to being a good steward of the creative energy that flows through me and manifests as spiritual, financial, and other resources. Okay, stay there. Even though a part of me may be resistant, I'm committed to being a good steward of the creative energy that flows through me and manifests as spiritual, financial, and other resources. Eyebrow, I believe that love heals and can repair both mind and body. Side of the eye, more and more. I'm tapping into love, light, and joy. Under the eye, I'm striving to become the perfect love. Stay there, which casts out fear. Under the nose, I open to the love that is key to communication with God, me, and humankind. Above a chin. More and more, I'm tapping into love, light, and joy. Collarbone. Even though I might forget. Part of me knows that love shines out in the darkness as the source of life and awareness. Under the arm, more and more, I tap into love, light, and joy. Top of the head, I honor the presence of God within me and all of creation. Stop and take a deep breath. How's everybody doing? Feels really good, doesn't it? Feels really good in here. So you can use tapping or EFT to clear the junk, but also as we've shown, you can welcome in more of the positive, more of what it is that you want. So this is a tool, as Gary Craig would say, try it on everything. Try it on your migraines, try it on your stubbed toe, try it on the emotional upsets. That's what I use it with for folks. I use it for myself especially too, on a regular basis. And as I said, I've got this, it's every other month now, a meetup group. And it is listed on meetup.com. I have an email list that if you want me to put you on it, I'd be happy to. There's some pieces of paper outside there. And I love talking about tapping. Could you tell that? I am open to questions. You're certainly welcome to contact me if you have questions about it. And I encourage you to try it on as many things as you can think. And thank you so much for this opportunity to speak here.